gavel. Let's see. It's about that time. It's working well. Good question.
Open this town council meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I want to welcome everyone here tonight. Good crowd. Appreciate y'all coming. We'll get right into the agenda. Approval of the minutes. You all have looked at them. Any changes, additions, or?
Actually, Mayor Stanley, I have a point to raise about that. At the April 21st council meeting, I noted that 3 emails were sent, which were specifically requested to be included in the official record related to a public hearing at that meeting. Only 2 of those documents were specifically requested to be included. The third person sent it, came to me after the meeting and advised that while we didn't read it out loud, that was good because they did not want that attached to the public hearing. So the minutes you have before you, I think, only have the 2 emails attached, and that would be slightly different than what we reported last time.
Okay, so
I apologize for the error, but it was a misunderstanding with the third person.
So the current minutes are okay?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Then they stand approved as is. All right. Moving on. Report of Town Manager, Mr. Warner.
Thank you, Mayor Stanley. Just a reminder, folks, that there will be a parade honoring the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, sponsored by the American Legion, which will take place on Saturday, May 16th, beginning at 11 o'clock a.m. The event will follow the traditional route of the annual Christmas parade, and I'm assuming most folks understand what that is. Also wanted to give an update to council and the public in general about our municipal building renovation process. Thompson and Litton have completed their evaluation of the HVAC system and are offering 2 separate options for consideration. One is a new water-chilled system similar to what we've had for over 50 years to replace the existing system. The other is the utilization of split units. There are still some questions about that split unit option, particularly regarding the potential impact of installing multiple units on the roof, which we just repaired fairly recently. Once we find some resolutions to the questions on that option, we will be coming back and presenting the options for your formal review and consideration, and we will move forward from there. I want to extend congratulations to Shannon Phillips of our Treasurer's Office, who has obtained certification as a Master Government Deputy Treasurer through the Weldon Cooper Center at UVA. And I just want to close by noting that National Police Week will be observed from May 11th through May 16th.
Good deal. Thank you. Appearances before council. We have a few. And let me remind everyone, you will have 3 minutes, and we will ask you to stop at 3 minutes or earlier. All right, the first one is Pastor Bill Owsley. You would please give your name and address and give us your blessings.
I'm Pastor Bill Owsley from Trinity Baptist Church, 2522 Gunstock Creek Road. How many of you here want to see Bedford prosper?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Most of you all raise your hands. Yeah. How does that happen? Well, actually, God's already given us the recipe, the formula for how that is to happen. When King Solomon in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 said, trust in the Lord with all your heart, not some, not part, not most, all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. He later said in chapter 16, there's a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to destruction. And when we get off of God's word and God's plan and get on our own, that's when we screw up. He said, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. You know, one of the earliest documents, the governing documents in the history of this nation was the Mayflower Compact. And yes, we heard in history class all growing up that the Pilgrims came to the New World to escape religious persecution. And that may have been half true, but if you ever read the Mayflower Compact, and I'd encourage y'all to Google it. It's 1 page, takes 2 minutes. They never mention political persecution. But they do state as their primary reason for coming the advancement of the gospel of Jesus Christ and to make the king some money. But the primary reason they came was the advancement of the gospel of Jesus Christ. This nation was founded on Christian principles. You know, in the original 13 states that made up the United States, every single state constitution required elected officials to be active participating members in their local churches. Every single constitution. So how do we get from that America to where we are today? Well, we didn't do what Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 said. You know, we didn't trust God. We leaned on our own understanding. We didn't acknowledge him in everything. And so they didn't direct our paths. How do we get back to it? Well, again, in God's word, he gives us the recipe, the formula for how to get back to that. 2 Chronicles 7:14, when he says, it's an if-then covenant. If my people who are called according to my name, not the godless pagans, my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Then I will hear their prayers from heaven. I will forgive their sins and I will heal their land. You know, that's how we're going to get back to prosperity. As you know, people say, well, separation of church and state. Well, you can't deny the fact that this nation was founded on Christian principles. Yeah, and those Christian principles give us the right and the freedom to worship whoever we want to. Allah, Buddha, a three-legged chicken named George, whoever we, or no one. But it's our Christian principles that give us that right. But if we don't trust in God and get back to his principles as a governing source of what we do, as his word says, we'll end up in destruction. Let's pray. Lord God, we thank you for the day. We thank you for your grace in it. Lord, pray that our council people here would seek your face with all their heart. Lord, that they would look for your wisdom and your discernment as they make decisions governing our town. And Lord, if they won't or if they don't, take them out of that seat and put someone in that will. Lord, that we might once again be a nation under God. And I pray it all in your awesome and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Pastor Housley. We need all the help we can get. Thank you. All right, Leslie Mahaffey, you know the routine.
Leslie Mahaffey, 1517 Woodland Road here in town. Thank you, Town Manager Warner, for mentioning their 250th parade. That's what I wanted to speak to y'all about tonight. That is a Bedford, Virginia 250th event. It is being hosted by the American Legion and sponsored also by the Bedford Moose Lodge. The Moose Lodge has 13 districts in Virginia, and 6 or 7 of those district representatives will be here in the parade. Miss Virginia will be in the parade. We have all the school bands in the parade. I had been going around last couple days and distributing a flyer that was prepared for the parade. Begins at 11 o'clock. I believe everyone here has been invited to participate. We encourage you to do so. If any of you follow my Facebook page, you will see that I've been posting pictures of the Bedford Bicentennial Parade from 1954. It was amazing the number of people that came out in our community to see the parade. The buildings were decorated with red, white, and blue, from the courthouse to every building, school in town. As I've been taking the flyers around, I've been encouraging the businesses also to decorate in red, white, and blue. And I just want to make sure that people understand this is very, very important to our community. We need to see people, whether they're little bitty tots or old people or whatever, we need them out in the parade. Is there anybody in town that has emails that they can send out or what have you to the businesses in town to encourage participation? One time we used to have Bedford Main Street. I don't know who this responsibility of communication from town activities who actually handles that. But I'm one person out there beating the streets and trying to get it out there. Others in our committee also are doing that. I'm not taking that away from anybody else. But I just want to encourage everyone. And I wanted to inquire, and I hope that Mr. Woodard will give us an update on the new banners. That policy was approved on April 21st. The kids' banners the art banners came down, and nothing went back up. We look kind of naked out there on Main Street.
We'll get something back up there.
So I'm sure that will be addressed. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Leslie. Board, I think Woody would probably,
I made a note of that.
okay, good.
Thank you.
All right, last is Andy Long. Of course, name, address, and the usual.
Good evening, Ann DeLong, 1512 Clearview Road. I have 2 topics to address. Do I get 3 minutes each? I'm kidding. I know.
3 minutes total. Come back to the next meeting for the next one.
No. So the first one, I sent you all an email, I hope you received, on the conversation that was held during the budget work session on Saturday, which I was very glad to have the opportunity to attend, about options for electric billing in the future. And I just wanted to encourage the council to look at this not only from the perspective of balancing the budget overall for the town, but the impact on the residents, because charging 3.95%, which is what was proposed to use credit cards to pay your bill online, frankly is usurious. And that's just incurring additional fees for no additional service on the parts of the taxpayers. So I would encourage you to revisit that and see if there are other options for online billing to streamline it, make it more efficient, more cost effective, but not coming out of the pockets of the taxpayers, especially given the latest issues we've had with electricity and the sensitivities to the price increases we've already had. Okay, what I really want to talk about is piggybacking a bit on what Leslie said. I am spearheading an effort in town to beautify Bedford in advance of the parade. I have 4 business owners who have agreed that various community organizations can set up displays in the vacant windows on North Bridge Street, also one on the corner here of South Bridge and Main. And so we have a variety of community organizations that are excited about this. They will be putting up window displays to show the community the types of activities that they do, to raise awareness about their mission, their impact here in the community, and we wanted to make it look more beautiful, particularly as everybody comes down the street for the parade. In addition to that, although this may not happen in time for the parade, I am spearheading a Snoopin' for Snoopy campaign, where we will ask various businesses downtown to get a Snoopy stuffed animal. People can get a passport either at the Visitor Center, at the D-Day Memorial, or at the Bower, and go from business to business to see Snoopy, get their passport signed. When they get all of the signatures, then they will get a sticker, a small prize for having collected and gone to all of the businesses to find the Snoopies. We think that this will be a great opportunity to encourage people to stop in at various businesses, whether they buy or don't. It raises awareness of the types of businesses that we have, the opportunities here in Bedford, and if that doesn't get done by the parade, which it may not, given the time frame, it will certainly be done by June 1st. So just wanted to make everybody aware of that. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ann. Appreciate it. Thanks for what you're doing. All right, council comments. Stacey, what do you think?
I just want to say thank everybody for coming tonight. I want to thank everybody that's been working on this 250 parade. Vice Mayor Updike, Leslie, and different people throughout the town. Jay, Councilman Ispilo, I can't say his last name. But I just want to thank everybody and the effort that they have put forward to have this parade coming up in our town. It's going to be awesome. It's going to show our true ability of what a town can do when we pull together. So, and thank everybody for being here tonight. That's all.
I want to thank Pastor Bill for coming out and giving us his prayer tonight. Leslie, AKA Miss Pfeffer, we want to thank you for everything that you do. I don't know if y'all know, but Leslie does a buttload of stuff for the community and for the businesses and for the museum and for the Vietnam vets. So I really appreciate everything that she does. And I've been seeing you run all over town, talking to the different people, so we appreciate everything that you do for us too. And that's all I have.
All right.
Thank y'all for being here.
Yeah, and again, I'd like to thank everyone for being here in public. And also, I notice a lot of people watch by YouTube. I get a lot of comments. And again, we thank you for y'all's comments, and especially thank the pastor for your prayers and your scripture reading.
Here.
I'll be short. No, thanks for being here. Just to reiterate what Councilman Ippolito said and Councilman Haley. 250 is this big. I mean, it's the birth of our nation 250 years ago. So please, come out and support, just like Leslie was saying. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie, and everyone else involved for the 250th parade. I will say, unfortunately, I will not be here. We'd already planned to be out of town. Last year, we had made our reservations for vacation, and then we switched our meetings, so it's kind of messed things up in its own way. But just a couple of things I've done here the past couple of weeks. Saturday, April 25th, I went to a Habitat for Humanity house dedication down on South Street. That took about a year to get done, get completed, and I just want to thank everyone who was involved in that. A great achievement. I know, Dave, you were involved in help building it, and other people also. Hopefully we'll see some more of that. Friday, May the 1st, I went to the opening of Bill's Brewery. They're back open. It was very nice, well attended, and they're back in business. And as of this morning, at 7:30 to 9, I went to the legislative wrap-up at Cedar Oaks with some very good information there. The officials were telling us what was going on in Richmond, what they could do, not do, but very, very good information, very informative. And I would encourage the rest of council to start coming to these events and show up. There's been several board supervisors there that I was only representative, along with me and Mary at several of them. So nonetheless, y'all try to make some of these when you can. And that is all I have. Report of council committees. I don't think we have any revisions to the agenda. There are none. So public hearings. Designated real estate owned by the Bedford Community Christmas Station is tax exempt from town real estate taxation. Mr. Warner.
Notice is given that the town council of the town of Bedford at 7 p.m. on May 5th, 2026 will hold a public hearing at the council hall in the town municipal building to consider a request by the Bedford Community Christmas Station to exempt from real estate taxation the property located at 510 Blue Ridge Avenue, Bedford, Virginia. The request is made pursuant to Virginia Code Section 58.1-3651, which authorizes the town council to designate as exempt from real estate taxation property owned by a nonprofit organization that uses such property for religious, charitable, patriotic, historical, benevolent, cultural, or public park and playground purposes. The assessment of the property in 2026 was $112,600 for the land and $353,300 for the building. The annual real estate taxes for 2026 totaled $1,304.52. At this time, any citizen who is in favor or opposed to this request shall have an opportunity to be heard.
The public hearing is now open. Anyone who would like to come up and speak For or against that, your time is now. Of course, you will have 3 minutes. So, come on, Kevin. Sure, Kevin, come on down. Name, address, and all that good stuff.
Kevin Turner, 1537 Oakwood Street. I've been with the Bedford Community Christmas Station for a while, and I see the good that they have done for the community and continue to do. And we would just urge you all to grant our request for tax exemption. I'll keep it short. It didn't take up much time.
You're very good. You lead by example.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else? Then this public hearing is now closed. All right, consent agenda, appointment of member of Redevelopment and Housing Authority, Mr. Warner.
A vacancy exists on the Redevelopment and Housing Authority. Ms. Ann DeLong has expressed an interest in being appointed to the authority, said term to expire October 13th, 2028. The vacancy has been advertised in a local newspaper. Tonight, council is requested to appoint Ms. Ann DeLong to serve on the authority, said term to expire October 13th, 2028.
All right, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
All right, Councilman Foster made the motion and Councilman Ippolito made the second. What discussion or questions do you have?
One question. This individual, she is running for council, so how would that affect her being on the dang? Well, I know she would have to resign if she did win council. So most council people do not sit on boards as a council person. So that would be my only question to this whole thing.
That is something that has been discussed. Mr. Lockerbie, would you like to address that or say anything about it? I know right now, Ms. DeLong is fine, but if elected, then we technically have 3 council members on the Housing Authority now. Of course, I'm on there, I'll rotate off, but I don't know if someone would take my place next year or not, but I'm not sure we want that many on the authority.
I think that's something that we're going to have to, that's probably best discussed in closed session. The short answer is that I do believe the 2 offices are incompatible, even though the law is far from super clear on
Right, I got you.
But I also know that there is forthcoming a clarification of our current policy due to the fact that there's one statute that says that you can't be on both, and there's one other statute that seems to make it sound like you might be able to, so.
Good deal. That's
Yeah.
for further discussion. Is that okay? All right.
Do we need a motion to table this until?
No, we'll
Okay.
call it. That's future reference. Okay, we're good. Darcy?
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
No.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 5 members voting aye.
All right. Old business ordinance, vacant building registry. Mr. Warner.
Actually, I'm going to defer this back to you all and Mr. Lockerbie to discuss the changes that were mentioned at the last meeting, and Mr. Lockerbie, as the author of the document, is here to provide clarification.
I think we
Yes.
ran into a little stalemate last meeting, and weren't sure what direction to go.
Well, Mr. Anderson made the amendments that he believed that you had requested, so tell me if he failed.
My first question would be, the owners of the buildings and boundaries of the town had been vacant continuous for a period of 12 months. So is that, if they've been vacant for 12 months and if they do get a citation, is it 12 months after that till they get the buildings up to date before? Or is that the 12 months already?
So they can't get a notice of needing to be on this registry until the building has been vacant for 12 months or met one of these criteria. for 12 months. So they don't have 12 months to bring it back up to code. In fact, this doesn't require them to bring it back up to code. It just makes them pay a fee if they don't. So if somebody's property is otherwise falls within one of those definitions of blight or the definition of derelict, there might very well be other ways that we can go after, someone could go after that. For instance, criminal blight is something that the Commonwealth's attorney would pursue. Some of these things like a derelict building, there might wind up, when I say might, in almost every search situation in which you have a derelict building, there's also a maintenance code violation going on. So there are other ways that you can go after these things more on an enforcement basis. I think as both I and Mary have really emphasized, this is particularly about getting absentee landlords who leave their property doing nothing productive, getting them to give us a phone number where we can call them to try to get them interested in getting their property doing something and not just looking like an old building falling into the cellar hole.
In order for someone to meet or fail to meet, whichever you want to look at the qualification of this, the building has to be vacant and has to be derelict and has to be a criminal blight. Is that the way I read that?
So the building has to be, it's an or, so it can be derelict, it can be criminal blight, or it has a person who is living there without the authority of the owner, which is to say a squatter. So it's not all three, it's one or the other for 12 months.
Okay. So the commas indicate an and, not an or. I mean, an or, not an and.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other questions?
I would go to the same, but under the definition of derelict building where it has been vacant, boarded up under the statewide building code and not lawfully connected. Is that also vacant or boarded up and not lawfully connected?
It's an and, so it has to be vacant, boarded up, and not connected either to electric or water and sewer. So it can be connected to electric, but not water and sewer, or not water and sewer, but vice versa. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that definition of boarded up under the statewide code is pretty specific as far as.
It is. And if somebody has a building that is not secured by boarding it up, the likelihood is that they will very quickly have squatters, which is going to create a issue under this code.
But the buildings for rent doesn't fall under the vacant.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's for a couple of reasons. First off, you're actively doing stuff. It's not vacant if it's attended. Which is somebody who's actively marketing a property, that property is going to be attended and it's going to be connected to electricity, water, and sewer. Again, the likelihood of somebody who is actively trying to get a tenant actually qualifying for this for 12 months is very, very low.
Yeah.
And it starts from the day that, if this passes.
Correct.
Okay.
So I think the question was asked last time, this is just downtown area, or is it for the whole town?
As drafted, it covers the entire town.
What else? What, you're okay? I mean, this is a start, and it could be tweaked as you go along, and we can review it various times, but it's a start to address downtown and the rest of the community. But I am not aware of anything that falls under this category at this time, but you don't know what the future may hold.
Can I say one more?
All right.
I just wanted to, I know the last time we met and started discussing this, there was some concern about the fees, that they weren't enough and those kind of things. But correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Lockaby, but I know I looked up the state code, and it's pretty specifically says what we put down in here. And by the Dillon rule, we can't go higher, right?
That's correct.
So we have no flexibility to go higher on these fees.
And every year or two or three, somebody with a lot of these kinds of properties, you know, the Petersburgs and Danvilles of the world, try to get the General Assembly to up it, and they don't.
I just wanted to make that clear that
I'm glad you said that. I was not aware of that, but, yeah, because some said it was not enough, but that's all we can do. Yeah. Good. Okay.
My only thing I have to say is, you know, it's great to, how you say, motivate people to get stuff done downtown and stuff, but it's hard to, it'd be like, say if you own a building or whatever, and I'm coming in trying to tell you what you need to do with your building when you've already been doing stuff to your building. It's just, but as long as it's got electricity and water in, it's not vacant, well said. But it's just that little bit of thing saying that, hey, how can I come tell you what to do with your building? I mean, and look downtown, we don't have that many. We do have some vacant buildings, but most of them's been, how you said, I know a building down there now just had a new roof put on it because they're trying to market that building or whatever. So there was issues with that building in the process or whatever. So it's just other buildings throughout the town, houses and stuff like that, that people are trying to do stuff with. So that would be my only grr with this whole thing.
You know, anybody that owns a building, if it's not making the money, it's costing them money. You know, and whatever their intended use is going to be, it's going to involve occupation of some sort, whether it's residential or commercial. You know, I would hope that they would want to keep things up to where they are making a profit off this. It is a money-making venture, not a money-costing venture. So, you know, kind of to echo what Councilman Haley said, you know, I hope this is a motivation, you know, to you know, help encourage people, and you know, and there's still some you know, programs available that can help, you know, with building maintenance and upkeep and stuff. So, you know.
And maybe as a town, and maybe as a thing, we need, and I know we have been doing this, maybe we need to let people, more businesses know of incentives and grants that we do have to offer through the town or whatever. And I think we got most of them online, correct?
I think Councilman Ippolito's probably going
above
and beyond trying to let people know that
18 applications.
Here's an
passed out.
application, you know, kind of thing.
He's the application guy.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I worry about with this is the registry going online. If they do get put on the registry, then have y'all looked at the registry online? It gets bad feedback and it causes their insurance to go up and get canceled, which is another thing against them. If we could do the registry to be for us and not be online for the whole world to see, to physically hurt that person.
I don't think
I
we
don't
can.
know. I don't know we can keep private notes on.
No.
I don't think legally you can do that, can you?
I don't think that it needs to be, you don't need to go out and publish it, but if somebody wants to FOIA it, they can get a copy.
Okay. It's a start, as I say. They start. Everybody okay? We didn't make a motion, did we? Anybody want to make a motion?
Motion.
Okay, Councilman Evans made the motion, second.
Second.
Councilman Foster made the second. Any more discussions? Nothing else to say? We're good to vote? Okay, person.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
No.
Mr. Ippolito?
No.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 4 members voting aye.
All right. Next is I'm not sure I like the word brief, presentation regarding operations outcomes of the Public Service Department. Tom Woodard. You can take your pick.
All right, good evening. Just wanted to give a brief overview of the Public Works Department, but I might have overshot it a little bit, but that's all right. You can stop me if I go too long. So, I'll start with the Public Works Department, our operations. We have 23 full-time employees. What we do is we're responsible for multiple service and activities for town operations. Public Works Division is comprised of the automotive and equipment mechanical maintenance, facilities grounds maintenance, refuse collection along with the landfill operation, street and stormwater maintenance, emergency services and support, special events, VDOT project and maintenance activities. We are responsible for maintenance of all the town facilities. We utilize 3 staff members primarily for this. And they maintain the municipal building, the police department, detective building over at Liberty Lake, the Public Works building, the old engineering department known as the Dog Pound, the cemetery office, transfer station, the electric department, and they were also responsible for the banners year-round. And a side note, we started today, we got the new D-Day banners that we've got put up, and we will continue, and they'll all be up this week, everything, the whole town. So, I utilize 5 staff members and 4 temps that maintain 7 parks, 4 cemeteries, the farmers market, and along with VDOT and various other rights of way throughout the town. The 7 Bedford parks that we maintain are known as Centertown Plaza, Liberty Lake Park, Reynolds Park, Greenwood, Orange Street Park, Poplar, and Town Park. At these locations, we do all the mowing, the landscaping, the equipment maintenance, which includes the benches, restrooms, water fountains, playground equipment, etc. My department also handles all the rentals of the pavilions for parties and the like. We handle all the repairs. There's 2 ponds that we maintain as well. We do the exercise playground equipment, and we maintain them for overall safety for children or anybody that's utilizing them. Just recently, we did some upgrades to the Centra equipment that's up at Liberty Lake Park via a grant that we received. We also are in charge of the installing the setup of the Christmas light displays, 4th of July parking event for the fireworks, and also some Halloween events. We also assist with the D-Day events, and the newest one is the Carnival that's going to be getting bigger as the years go on. They love that location, and they plan on being there for quite a while. And we also do assist with some private events when people rent the pavilions for parties and the such. The 4 cemeteries that we maintain are Longwood, which all are one, the Longwood, Greenwood, and Oakwood Cemetery, Fairmont, which is just up the road here, and the little known ones are Mountain, Fuqua, Otay, and Jackson. The last 4 we don't have a ton of involvement with, but yet we still do maintain and mow and perform maintenance activities. And like I said, at these locations, we do the mowing, the landscaping, we handle the plot sales and assist with the deed recording. We do ceremonies, the openings and closings for the funerals, and also do some headstone maintenance as well. Another one of the issues that we deal with, emergency management and support. We assist and support local disaster mitigation, preparedness and response, and recovery for major rainstorms, snow and ice events, tornadoes, derechos, And some of the things we do there with these things, we push snow, we spread the salt for salting the ice, we install signages, barricades, road closures, detours. All the guys are certified in maintenance of traffic through VDOT, so they all have that certification. So so we can, so they have the knowledge to do it correctly. So one of our primary issues, our primary activities is sanitation. We collect approximately 3,500 homes, waste from 3,500 homes by hand. Basically unlimited residential brush collection once a month per the route, the sanitation route. We do e-waste, leaf collection, 2 special cleanup events, and by the way, the last event that was just a week ago, we collected 108,000 pounds of trash just in 1 week. In 2025, the transfer station with 3 staff members processed 15,504 tons of trash. 1,362 tons was recycling, 14,142 tons was trash. The three guys, one member runs the scale house, the other 2 are responsible for sorting and loading it on the semi-trailers, which they stay busy constantly. As well, they process brush and wood to be recycled, and by recycling, I have been contacted by a few people about selling the chips and what we do with them. We had done that in the past, but had run into a couple of issues with that. What we collect brush-wise, it is not separated. Anything could be in there, and usually it's weeds or scraps, but we ran into an issue where there was some poison ivy that was collected. It was ground up and got spread throughout the mulch. So we do not sell that anymore right now. I have a contract for brush grinding, and that gentleman takes it, and most of it he sells to the paper mill out in Big Island, and they burn it. So that's what we primarily do with that, because we do receive a lot of brush, a lot of wood. So that's our process for that. Also, lost my place here. And we're also responsible for monitoring the 2 closed landfills. We utilize a contract with a company called WSB, and we just monitor the groundwater for any kind of leachant or anything like that, which is a state requirement. And as well, we store and sell the millings from repaving activities that we do every year. So that's a way that we also kind of recycle, I guess you could say. The millings, instead of them going back and us losing them, we retain them, sell them for $15 a ton. We store them down at the landfill, and people can come in, pick them up, and utilize them. In Florida, we didn't do that, so that was a new one for me when I moved here. They just put it back in and made more asphalt. I'd never seen anybody, utilize them how they do, but it's impressive. They hold up real well. So that was a learning for me. I have a street crew that has 5 staff members. They're responsible for all the road signs, road repairs, stormwater issues, brush collection, street sweeping, tree trimming. They're all certified in MOT. They're all certified as ornamental spraying technicians, which is for weeds. We have 2 ponds that they maintain, and they also do a lot of the benches throughout the town, along with the concrete work. All our benches are placed on concrete pads. We do that all in-house. One of the other places we maintain is the gun range. We assist with the gun range and the fire center. We assist with the ground maintenance and upkeep, and I say assist. They do a lot of the fire and the PD do a lot. They help us by they spread a lot of their own 57 stone, that type of thing. They'll come and say, hey, can I borrow the roller, or can I borrow a tractor? And absolutely. So they assist us with that. But we just recently did a nice project with the chief and with the guys down there at the gun range. We were able to redo the berm. We had some budget concerns. They had put in some money that didn't think that we needed to spend this year, but there were some upgrades that were needed, so my guys were able to help with that. So that turned out it was a real good project that we did all in-house. And also with the assistance of the electric department. Their right-of-way crew helped me out a ton with tree removal, that sort of thing. So it was a real group effort between the police, Public Works, electric. It really showed how we can all work together, so it was good. Fleet services, I have 2 mechanics that maintain 139 vehicles and equipment for the police department, the fire department, Public Works, the landfill, the electric department, and code enforcement. And they're both very talented, and I just wanted to say, as well as repairing a wide variety of small engine equipment, mowers, weed eaters, vacuums, saws, blowers, snow equipment, they go all the way up to the bucket trucks and the flusher trucks and everything. They impress me with what their knowledge and what they can figure out, and so they're really valuable for the town. Just wanted to run over a couple of projects that you all are aware of, but I just wanted to bring to the forefront. I'm responsible or part of the McGee Street Bridge Replacement Team. This is going on the 7th year. I've been involved with it for the past 2 years. This is a $6+ million project to replace the bridge. Just in case anybody is curious, it is not a historic designation. So they were able to move forward with it, but we are having some hurdles with the Norfolk Southern. Some things that they want to see done. So we are working through all that, so we're keeping our nose at a grindstone, but we're going to get that hopefully within the next couple of years. So get that behind us. So hopefully, yes, sir. As Bart mentioned, municipal building, the HVAC and electric, that's $2.5 million project. I'm really looking forward to that getting accomplished and getting started. That'll take a lot of calls off of my phone, so, but it'll be good for all involved for the building. In 2025, this is just a little bit of information. 2025, via VDOT funding that we got, we installed 1,856 feet of new sidewalk that was replacement and 4.62 miles, which is 24,364 feet of road paving. And this is a yearly event, basically. We just finished for this year, and we're working on next year. So it's basically we're clearing about 5 miles per year in this town that we get brand new pavement. And the roads, and I will say, I just went on a little trip to Tennessee with my wife, and the roads around here are in pretty good shape. Yeah. Compared to where I've been. So
some rough ones down there.
Yeah, and at least we have a plan in place, right? And the last thing I'm going to bring up is our partnership that we've started with County Parks and Rec. They're going to be hopefully utilizing Liberty Lake Park more in the near future for games. We're all kind of joining together and sharing our schedules. And the last thing is the carnival. Like I said, they're very excited about utilizing Liberty Lake Park, and we're going to be moving forward with that. And I think that's going to be a long-term event that we're going to be doing here. So.
Real quick, Tom, why don't you touch on our meeting earlier this year with Carolyn Fellers and the ideas they had about future partnerships.
Today I reached out to Carolyn. Carolyn Fellers and Joy Powers, the mayor and I had a meeting with them. We're very excited and very happy with how last year's carnival worked out for them at Liberty Lake Park. So they expressed interest in continuing on with that. And one of the things that they had offered to do was look for grant opportunities, primarily to install a permanent building. The discussed location, but it's not set, but the discussed location was at the large pavilion where the concession stand is, would encapsulate, it would remove the pavilion and the concession stand, but it would all be encapsulated in a brand new building that would still be, accessible and usable for all sorts of things in any inclement weather or anything like that. Right. So it would be something that we would get a benefit from all year round, and that they would get a benefit out of when they do the carnival. And how that kind of came up, sorry if no one can hear me, how that kind of came up is this year, they're going to be renting temporary walls to enclose that big pavilion, and that's where they're going to be having their, I forget the name, what they call that, the competition things like art and pies and, you know, arts and crafts, that kind of thing. So that, and they want it, and they're going to be running AC, you know, portable AC in there, so it's cool and everything. So we're going to see how that works out. But that, like I said, that's something that they're trying to look at long term. So
They have some big plans.
yep.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
and I'm open for questions, but I hope that kind of gave you a little information.
Any questions for Tom? I will say, I've visited Tom's employees several times, and they're a talkative bunch, and, which I appreciate, and
Yeah.
I like that. They will not hesitate to tell you what's on their mind.
Pretty much, yeah.
But they're a good, hardworking bunch.
Yeah, they are good.
I appreciate them.
Yeah, I do have a good crew. They've helped, like I said, I'm going on, in June will be my second year here, 2 years. They welcomed me in, you know, and they know what they're doing, they know their job. Couldn't ask for a better bunch, so I'm proud of them. I'm happy to work with them.
You do well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I told Tom earlier that I could summarize his business up in one sentence: we do more with less.
That's it. He is correct. Yes, sir.
Yep, that's very true. All right, thank you, Tom.
Yes, sir.
All right, next is ordinance designating real estate owned by the Bedford Community Christmas Station as tax exempt from town real estate taxation. Mr. Ward.
The Bedford Community Christmas Station has requested the town council to enact an ordinance designating its property, tax parcel 80503067, also identified as tax map number 193-A-16T, exempt from real estate taxation by the town. However, town council may exempt certain properties from property taxation by designation, meaning that the property is specifically designated as exempt as opposed to being part of a general classification that is exempt, as spelled out in the Virginia Code. In order to qualify under this section, there are several criteria. There are 11 in total that must be considered by council, which are laid out in your action form. I can go over those if you'd like, or I can respond to questions as you have them.
I think we've read them.
Okay, we will move forward and note that an ordinance granting the exemption has been posted in accordance with provisions of the town code. Tonight, we're asking council to take such action as council determines is proper in response to the nonprofit's request for real estate tax exemption.
Okay.
So moved.
All right, Councilman Haley made the motion. Anybody want a second?
Second.
All right, Councilman Foster made the second. Questions, discussion, comments?
I do have one question. I just want to say y'all do an awesome job for the community. And y'all give and do everything you can. Every time my wife comes down there, she brings something home unique every time she comes down. Only question I would have, it might be a question with Mr. Lockerbie, what about when they do retail? Will that affect the tax exemption and things like that? I know they do have some retail sometimes.
It does not affect the tax exemption. I think in part that is why they are exempt by classification. Like there are certain things that are always exempt. But this falls within that category where it can be exempted by designation on a kind of a case-by-case basis. The fact that there is a retail component does not make something ineligible unless you have something else going on that's going to create a problem. And I give the example of if it turned out that the director of it was making $140,000 a year, then you would say, well, actually someone's operating this as a business where they're trying to make money. In fact, that's not actually how it works. We can look at the things, we can follow up with on the books if we want and ensure that that's not how it's going on. This is truly being operated in a charitable way. And at which point it's not an issue.
Okay, I just had that one question I want to clear up, but like I said, that's why I made the motion for this to move forward, so I just wanted to clear that one question up, so.
Any other comments? I too want to say y'all do a great job. I appreciate what you do. Y'all have been around for a long time, and I thought it had been quite a few years. Wow, thank you. Okay. All right, Dorsey.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 members voting aye.
All right, budget amendment for local law enforcement, grant award from Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services. Mr. Warner?
The Town of Bedford Police Department has been awarded a grant in the amount of $2,372 from Virginia DCJS. The grant program is funded by the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program, which is administered by the state and made available to local government entities. The purpose of the grant is for the police department to purchase items that strengthen crime control within the town. Specifically, I understand they're going to purchase mobile data terminals for their vehicles. The grant was awarded from the federal fiscal year 2024 award and must be spent by August 31st, 2026. Acceptance of this grant required town council approval to appropriate the funds towards the grant revenue and police department grant expense budget. There is no local match requirement for the grant. Tonight, town council is requested to approve the budget amendment, which will appropriate the $2,372 in the appropriate revenue and expenditure line items.
All right, do I hear a motion?
Motion.
All right, Councilman Evans, and who made, Councilman Ippolito made the second. Any questions, discussion? That's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, Darcy?
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 members voting aye.
All right, budget amendment for fuel dispensing equipment purchase. Mr. Warner?
The town's current fuel dispensing system reached the end of its functional life in March of 2026. The lack of a functioning system prevents automated tracking of fuel consumption by vehicle and department, which is essential for accurate cost allocation and maintenance scheduling. Management explored repair options, however, due to the obsolescence of the existing unit repair, parts were no longer available for order. Public Works Director obtained 2 quotes for this purchase and recommends the purchase of Fuelmaster FM Live system, which uses encoded chip keys to identify users. Total cost for the equipment is $17,960. Staff has identified available revenues over budget in the proceeds, sale of assets account, and the recoveries and rebates account, and would recommend for council to consider a budget amendment which would appropriate these revenue funds towards the purchase of a new fuel system. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve the attached budget amendment, which will appropriate $17,960 to the general ledger accounts in the appropriate revenue and expenditure line items.
All right. Hear a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Haley made the motion, second.
Second.
Vice Mayor Updike made the second. Questions or comments?
Question.
All right.
So this is replacing that big old unit in the middle of the public works down there, right?
In between the two
Yep.
pumps?
Yep.
Yes, correct.
And it's gonna update the pumps too or whatever?
No, sir.
No, okay.
Only the dispensing, so it can track who gets fuel, how much, and when. But the pump, I do have it on pretty reputable authority that the pumps, even though as old as they are still in excellent condition.
Okay.
And tanks are doing fine. The diesel tank is clearing up. The gentleman that I'm referring to gave me a protocol for trying to clean up the diesel fuel, and so far it's been working well. So things were going well, and then the dispenser went down. And right now we're on the honor system. People are having to write it all by hand with what fuel they get. So, yeah.
I remember those days. How many gallons, what vehicle you was in?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are times you're in a hurry and forget.
Well, that's the
Imagine,
thing.
I'm not saying.
That's it.
All right, any more questions? All right, Dorsey?
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 members voting aye.
All right. Ordinance readopting and reenacting code provisions dealing with traffic laws. Mr. Warner?
This is an annual exercise in housekeeping primarily. Attached is an ordinance which readopts and reenacts Section 34-2 of the Town Code, which incorporates by reference current provisions of the Code of Virginia dealing with traffic laws and motor vehicle operation. Failure to adopt this ordinance would mean that offenders would have to be charged under the state law rather than the town law, and any fines collected would then be payable to the state rather than to the town. The ordinance has been posted in 3 locations in the town in accordance with Section 2-54 of the Town Code. Tonight, Town Council is requested to adopt the ordinance readopting and reenacting code provisions dealing with traffic laws.
All right, do I hear a motion?
So move.
All right,
I'll second.
all right. Vice Mayor Updike made the motion, Councilman Haley made the second. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer, I would think.
This, every day, I think we do it every year.
Yeah, we do,
Yep.
pretty much. Everybody okay?
Yep.
All right, Dorsey?
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 members voting aye.
All right, resolution, Business Appreciation Month 2026. Mr. Warner?
The month of May is celebrated as National Small Business Month. For Bedford, this provides an opportunity to recognize the many businesses that create the economic framework for employment in the town of Bedford. In appreciation of our industry, small businesses and entrepreneurs that provide jobs, services, and quality of life to citizens, Council is asked to adopt a resolution declaring May to be Business Appreciation Month in the town. And if it pleases Council, I'll be happy to read that resolution at this point.
Sure, go ahead.
Unless you want to do it, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I'll spare your voice.
Okay, go ahead.
Whereas the month of May is recognized as National Small Business Month, with National Small Business Week observed during the first week to celebrate small businesses as the backbone of our economy. And whereas the town of Bedford supports its business community and the entrepreneurial spirit that fosters a vibrant and sustainable local economy. And whereas the citizens of the town of Bedford benefit from a strong business climate through economic growth, job creation, and expanded opportunities. And whereas the town of Bedford is committed to long-term economic vitality by supporting a diverse business community, working in partnership with its Economic Development Authority, and promoting initiatives that enhance economic well-being and public safety. And whereas local businesses play a vital role in advancing Bedford's prosperity, contributing to community character, and strengthening the overall quality of life. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Bedford hereby proclaims May 2026 as Business Appreciation Month in the Town of Bedford and calls upon all citizens to recognize and support the contributions of local businesses.
Thank you. You hear a motion?
Yeah.
Councilman Ippolito, and second?
Second.
All right, Vice Mayor Updike. All right, any comments? All right, Dorsey?
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 members voting aye.
All right, PCA Updike, Mr. Warner.
Price Cost Adjustment, or PCA, was scheduled to be changed effective May 1st, 2026. After reviewing the latest data, the electric director determined that a significant increase would be warranted based on the PCA calculation directed by Town Code. In consideration of October rate changes and abnormally cold winter weather, at the April 21st, 2026 council meeting, staff requested that the scheduled PCA change be postponed from May 1st, 2026 to June 1st, 2026. This request was made in order to give council more time to evaluate options for the recovery of PCA costs. Council agreed to the request and postponed the effective change of the PCA accordingly. Since the April 21st council meeting, staff has worked to develop 2 alternative options for consideration in lieu of passing along the PCA as calculated under Section 58-171 of Town Code as follows. Option A would be application of a surcharge of $10 to be applied to all customer accounts for a period of 24 months. Option B would be consideration of changing the town's rate tariff to increase the PCA in all categories and to offset a portion of the increase for residential and sanctuary worship rates through eliminating the first step and charging all kilowatt hours at the step 2 rate. Of course, we can talk about that in greater detail. Tonight, Town Council is requested to consider and discuss options related to a shortfall in revenue collections beyond passage of the PCA increase as calculated under Town Code. And if it makes you feel a little bit better about the discussion, we did find out today that we will be seeing additional revenues of $1.3 million in the electric fund as a result of the settlement of a long-term lease purchase agreement for the skimmer station in Big Island. So that's basically for your information and for the public.
You all want to discuss this first?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay. All right. What do y'all think? We have two options here. Option A, a surcharge of $10 spread over 2 years, or option B, where basically, Mr. Warner, the town would cover that charge. Is that basically what we're saying?
Yeah, I'll defer to staff, Mr. Wagner and Ms. Cantrell, if they want to speak more of the details of this. But effectively, we would be changing the power cost rate and readjusting that in a way that would ultimately affect the town's financial reserves.
Do we have a C, D, and E, or?
Well, C is you've got $1.3 million coming in that we knew was coming, but we didn't know was coming right now.
All right, what do y'all think? Let's talk about it.
If we go with option A, what will that, John? Don't act like you're all.
You got all stiff back there, didn't you?
Okay, I finally made it. What was your question?
If we go with the option A, what will it cost the town?
What will it cost the town? Option A is designed to collect all of the under recovery. So it would not cost the town, we would not be drawing down reserves under option A.
So it will cost us nothing?
It would cost the town nothing.
Okay, if we go with option B, what will it cost the town?
I think it's, well, let me just take a step back. Our rates, I really have two components. We have a base rate, then we have the PCA. The PCA is just designed to recover power cost. The base rate is designed to cover operating cost and non-operating cost, things like payment in lieu of taxes and also capital cost. So under the rate design adopted October 1st, we seem to have over-recovered somewhat in the base rates, but under-recovered in the fuel rates or the power rates. So the proposal under option B is to take some of that over-recovery in base rates and apply it to the power cost to reduce the amount that we would collect from customers, which is fine. This council, maybe not this council, but previous councils have done similar things, but by covering some of the shortfall with reserves. So there is precedent for that. But just be clear that that's what that option does. So, which is fine. You're welcome to take that option and utilize those reserves. I think Anna's done a good job because she's recalculated our cash reserve target, and we're well above that. And although we do have some capital expenses coming up in the next budget and kind of at the end of this budget, we should be okay from that perspective. So that gives you a little bit of leeway.
So like with option B, it's saying if your bill is $178.17, it would go to $179.21. Or if it was $325.38, it would go to $333.42.
Right. essentially the difference, the functional difference between the two options is, under option A, everybody is going to pay. Okay? Under option B, the residential customers really are not going to pay any additional charge. Maybe a little bit if they're high users. But if they're users below 900 kilowatt hours, they really won't pay anything additional. But let's take a step back to understand why we got here. We got here because of Winter Storm Fern, which had extended period of cold weather. If we hadn't had that, the PCA would be doing pretty well. So I prefer to look at that as a storm cost. In the past, we have had storm cost recoveries with surcharges. We did with back in '24. We had the same thing. We had a $5 or $10 surcharge to recover the storm
Correct.
cost. So option A is looking at in that vein. And so everybody would pay under that option, residential customers and all customers. What option B does is it shifts the cost recovery to high users. Because when you redefine the PCA, which is power cost recovery, that applies to everybody, but it doesn't hit the small users. So somebody like the weaving mill is going to be paying a very high percentage of those costs. So if you take a step back and say, well, how did we get here? We got here because of the winter storm, and basically residential heat is what drove us into this situation. If you look at the two options, option A will recover some of those costs from residential customers. Option B really will not do that. So that's as far as I see it, that's the decision that is before you, is how to recover those costs and how much. Even with option A, you can make the determination, well, we're going to cover X amount of dollars of that, and that would reduce the amount that we would collect from customers. So you could reduce that $10 fee by saying we're going to use $500,000 out of reserves to offset some of this cost, which is essentially what option B does. So both of them get us to about the same place. So as John Wagner, the director of the electric utility, I'm indifferent because I get the same amount of money either way. As John Wagner, the rate designer, I do not favor eliminating the first block, because think about it. The residential rate is designed to recover fixed cost in that first block and to pass along in the second block just those variable costs like power costs. But the infrastructure costs are intended to be covered in the first block of the rate and the fixed charge. One thing I was kind of disappointed in the design we did and implemented in October, we eliminated much of the difference between the two blocks. Mm-hmm. So when it came to heating season, guess what? Heating customers had a huge increase because we reduced that difference between the two blocks. This even takes it a step further. So that's the difference. That's the decision that's before you. How do you want to collect it? How much do you want to collect? And how you want to do it?
Mm-hmm. Quick question.
Yes, sir. I love your questions.
I love you too. So there was no option C. So just for giggles, option C, how about it said we didn't do nothing?
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't think, because, hear me out, option A will be $10 for 24 months.
Correct.
All right. Another PCA will come up in November the 1st or December the 1st, because we moved it.
November.
So in the process of doing that, we're still paying that $10 for 24 months. How about you come up back to us in November and say, hey, we got to have another increase in PCA, and as you look into a crystal ball, we know that it fluctuates every day.
Correct. Every hour.
Yeah. So in the process of option C, if we didn't do anything, what would that cost us in the long run?
The shortfall is around $2 million. So if we did nothing, which is your decision, I don't advise that, we would be taking about $2 million out of reserves.
But in that $2 million that we don't do in the PCA, as we continue collecting, let's say it doesn't, now came on the recovery charge or whatever, will we make up that $2 million, that recovery charge over the summertime?
I don't think so.
No?
Forecasting a shortfall into next year, just based on our current annual average on billings versus our budget requirements for the year, we're short around 6% going into next year.
Okay.
That shortfall is there.
Yeah, that's current rates versus current averages and current budgeted percent.
Okay, I was just asking, so.
Now, one thing that I would also recommend, whichever route we take, that we revisit this in September, so that we can tell how we're doing in terms of our collections, and then if we need to make a change, we could do it then, and not rely totally on November onward, which is heating season.
So on option B, will that be a time limit on that, or will that be up to the next PCA?
Well, it would, it could be up to the next PCA. It's really, we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it, but if we did nothing at the next one, it would continue. It would not change.
But that option B, we're still going to be paying, the town's going to be paying from the fund, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
About,
Correct. But again, the idea there is, well, maybe we collected too much in base, not too much. We collected extra in base rates. We could channel that, call it energy cost recovery, and offset some of it that way, which you can do under option A too.
yeah.
Because both of them essentially take revenue out of the reserves. Eventually, that's the way it would hit. So, last time we had a situation like this, which was Winter Storm Elliott, if you remember that. I think we took about $500,000 or so from reserve and kind of brought down the amount we needed to collect in addition in the PCA.
Right.
And actually, we accomplished that through a surcharge.
I mean, the application of a surcharge of $10 over 24 months, I mean, it doesn't
That
make
collects
big.
everything.
Yeah.
That collects all the under recovery. It leaves the PCA where it is now. We could revisit that in September, see where we are. If we're short again in September, I don't think it's going to be a tremendous amount, but then we could go ahead and make a recommendation to make a change at that time. I don't think we want to get in the same thing we were last year.
Yeah.
We made a change at the beginning of the heating season, and that hurt, because of the cold weather. So if you want an option C, we can do an option C. We can do other options. We're just trying to, lay options out to you. This is where we stand. By ordinance, if we did nothing and just let the PCA change as based on the ordinance, that would be recovering about $24 a month extra from the typical residential customer, which to me seems, I really would like to do something to offset that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I just want to clarify one day on option B. Option B, will we be cutting our base rate, correct?
Well, you'd be cutting the first block of the base rate. The second block will stay the same. So you actually end up with a flat rate for residential.
Okay, and that will cut some of that recovery charge, correct?
And then, then the recovery charge is going to go up slightly. And between the two of those things, it's going to generate about the same amount of money as option A, but you won't be collecting so much in residential. You'll be collecting it from the other customers, the non-residential customers.
Yeah, you're going to see, as John says, Bedford Weaving would.
Yeah, and of course, if we have another cold winter, heating people will even see a higher increase. So, it's a tough call either way. I like the idea of the surcharge. We've done it in the past, and it becomes a temporary thing. We can review that on an ongoing basis. However, if you feel pressure that you want to keep your residential rates as low as possible, you do option B.
Yeah.
Because on average customer is about 1,000 kilowatts.
I'd say
Give
probably
or
a little bit
take.
more now,
A little bit
over
more.
1,300.
And I don't know, do they need to make a decision tonight?
You do not have to make a decision tonight. It's, the sooner we do, we can adjust our billing software to reflect whatever
Probably
we
need
do.
2 weeks or a week at least.
Yeah.
Yes, because we have to change around 400 records in our system every time we change rates.
Right.
It's not a small fee.
Now, my understanding, what we did in the past, we could do the surcharge without having a new rate ordinance because we do it within the bounds of the PCA. If you want to do option B and actually change the rates, you're going to need a new rate ordinance. And you're going to have to follow whatever steps that requires. I think there's 2 readings maybe, something like that. So we probably would have to make that decision now. So you could get it in place for June 1st.
Yeah.
Which,
All right.
which option affects the prior year reserves the hardest?
Well, option B does, but you could decide to use prior year reserves for option A and you reduce that $10 or reduce the 24 months. You know, that's option C, and then you could have option D where you do some other changes in base rates. Like I say, I like some things of option D because it's easiest on the low-use residential customers. But come heating season again, it's going to have a big impact on heating customers.
And we don't know what November is going to look like.
We don't, but we've done something a little different this year with our power supply strategy. Of course, you authorized the purchase from Potomac Energy. Okay, that will help us reduce our costs going forward or stabilize our costs going forward. We've also instituted several short-term purchases for the summer, for the fall, and the winter. And we're doing that right now ahead of time. So that will give us a known amount going forward. So if we have an event like another winter storm, we'll be pretty well hedged against it.
Okay.
Not 100%, but we'll be much more hedged than we were last year. So in other words, we'll have a higher degree of certainty what our costs are going to be. So I don't see another step change like we had last year with capacity cost.
Nobody saw the winter storm coming either.
No, not at all. You never do.
That's true. You know, what I pray for every year is that Appalachian Power peaks in the summertime instead of the winter. That'll save us $500,000. It's just that.
They never cooperate, do they?
No. You know, Mother Nature is pretty finicky.
They're very, very right.
And we're at the mercy of Mother Nature.
All right, gentlemen, what's the thought here? A?
Option
A?
See, I'm not a big fan of surcharges, temporary surcharges, because they tend to want to become more than temporary or less than temporary. They seem to hang on.
Well, this one says 2 years. It's not going to keep on giving over 2 years.
As long as we can come back and revisit this again in September.
I'd like to come back and revisit the issue in September,
Yeah.
see how we're doing.
Yes.
And if it looks like we're having under recovery, we probably have to address it at that time. Like I say, I don't see a big step change coming like we had last year with a huge increase in, our capacity costs went up 580%. I don't see something like that happening again. Now, they might creep up a little bit, but they're not going to take a big step that we had last year.
I like that. I mean, we could review it in September and see how we're doing, and we could adjust it then, correct?
Yeah, and you might go to September and say, hey, I guess I really wish I would have done option B, and you could do that.
Yeah.
Or you could come, tonight you could say, okay, I think we're going to use $500,000 in reserves, go back and recalculate the $10, and come back with another.
Yeah.
Or you could just say, we'll do option B.
Yeah. John, you're getting us more confused here now.
I'm sorry, I'll sit down and shut up.
You're doing good.
There's no great options.
No, there's not. I mean,
There's a lot of uncertainty over 24 months. That's from the finance side, my one hesitation. I don't want this to become a bigger and bigger amount than we have to pass on
yeah,
by extending it out over a 2-year period.
Which has happened before.
yeah.
It just
Well, with
starts
the
to
rate
snowball.
adjustment we had to do, that essentially happened, yeah.
Well, let me just add one thing. Nobody takes any pleasure in trying to increase rates. You know, that's the last thing in the world we want to do. But we have an obligation to keep the utility financially sound.
Okay, the $10 was adjusted by the amount that it cost, the
The under
PSA.
recovery. The $10 will recover all of the under recovery in over 2 years.
Okay,
Well, you know, because it's based on bills, I don't see a huge change. If anything, we're gonna have more bills because of all the development that's coming through here. So maybe that could shorten the period if we go from, say, 7,000 customers to 7,500 customers. And that's very possibly could happen within the next year.
yeah. Well, I think we get the electric fund balance pretty good in the past couple of years with what we were doing, so I'm hesitant to go back doing that. I mean, I'm leaning towards option A, but we review it in September and make any necessary adjustments, which we could at that time. I mean, we may look at the fund balance and say, you know, maybe we'll reduce that to $5 and
Yeah.
pay
Well, I think
more.
the fund balance was looking pretty good from what the information Ann put out. I think our target's around just under $5 million, 4.8 million or something like that. And our fund balance is over $6 million right now.
In
And
our
we-
current policy, we have to have 4.8 million, and we're estimating 6.9 million at the end of this year. However, I will say that industry standard is a 90-day cash reserve, and that puts us right at 90 days of cash reserve.
The 5 million or the 6 million?
The 6.9 million would be right at a 90-day
90.
reserve. So our existing cash reserve policy is at a lesser amount than a 90-day reserve. So industry standard is a 90-day reserve, and we want to point that out.
Yeah, that's correct, and that's what AMP, when AMP does a financial review of their members, they want to see 90 days of cash.
As opposed to 69.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but so, like 8 years ago, we were up here at like 14 million, and over the last 8 years, we've exhausted about 6 million by covering costs over those last 6 or 7 years.
We have, and we have not really spent, you know, one good thing that I know that came out of the rate study is, because they were really financial analyst people, telling us you really need to have capital investment equal to depreciation, or that depreciation is really the baseline. Really, you know, you're just treading water. Our capital investment over that time has been very, very small. Fortunately, you know, with all of the fiber that's going in, we got a lot of our poles replaced and it didn't cost us. So that's a plus. But there are projects which we have been talking about doing for a long time that we haven't been able to do.
Like the infrastructure.
And I do have to correct something I said on Saturday, when you asked me, Councilman Haley, about the $100,000 that was in the underground operating expense. That is not capital. That is to finish the project we started behind the hospital. If you go back there, you'll see that we have put the conduit in to replace the underground grid there, but we have not pulled the wire through and made connections yet. We ran out of money and time. So that amount, that $100,000, was intended to finish that project.
Good point. I mean, all right, what's the verdict? Let's give me thoughts. A? B? I think we have to, well, I think we should make a decision tonight, not kick the can down the road to another meeting. But again, with option A, at least in September, we can take a second look at it and adjust it accordingly. And we may say at that time, depending on the fund balance as to what it looks like, we'll just take care of the rest of it if we so desire.
I have a question. So you're talking about option A, we could revisit in September. So we done option B, we can revisit that in September too, correct?
You can. You can. But
And then if we need to make adjustment going into the winter time or something like that, where you was talking about it won't hit the bigger businesses with a higher day or whatever, we can look at them, because the new PCA will come up November the 1st anyway, correct?
yeah, yes, it will. Yes, it will. Just keep in mind who you're targeting this at. Option A is going to spread it to everybody. Option B is going to spread it not to residential customers, basically, who really caused the shortfall. So it's, but we can do option B, and we can revisit it in September, see how we're doing, how we're going with our collections, and it's up to you. But
Another part of that equation, you talk about, who's going to get targeted kind of thing. The other part of that is, kind of to what Councilman Foster was pointing out, over the course of, 6-7 years, we went down $7 million because we were funding rate increases. And that's something that we can't do continually. The well will run dry very quickly. So there's three components to that.
I mean, I'm comfortable because of where we stand right now, but that's why we need to look at it again. And constantly, every month we need to look at it, but come back and revisit it. I think another difference is if you want to do option B, you're going to have to do a new rate ordinance.
Do what?
A new rate ordinance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
that's 2 advertisements in the public hearing.
Yeah. So that one, if you want to.
Count too as well, right?
What's that?
We would have to advertise a new surcharge as well, correct?
In the past, we did the surcharge within the PCA. Yeah.
I would need to, I think you're right, Ann. I would need to open up the PCA ordinance and look at it again. But I think you're right. The PCA self-adjusts without public hearing, but the base rates and surcharges don't.
Right, that's why the surcharge is done within the PCA. Because I think the PCA doesn't require that we recover the cost based on kilowatt hours. But we can discuss that.
Well, when you really stop to think about it, September is, a little over 4 months away. And in that time, we'd have time to really get a better feel for things, make a probably wiser decision based on what is going on, the PCA and all that, and probably have a much better feel for it as to, I know you can't use this word in the utility business, but if there's any stabilization, we might get a little feel for it as to where rates have stabilized and they're not fluctuating like we've seen in the past.
Well, the real thing we want to know in September is how are we collecting?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's my 2 cents. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, I'll go sit down and shut up.
I think we're good, John.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Make a motion for council to approve option A.
Second.
Okay. Vice Mayor Updike made the motion, Councilman Evans made the second. All right, discussion? I think we discussed it, haven't we?
I think one of the last important thing would be is like John said, that, if we allow the PCA to automatically adjust, it's going to cost the average resident about $24 more a month.
Right.
And if we do option A, at least we're spread loading that out, so it's not a big hit right away.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Let me just add, under the existing PCA, that recovery would be done over 6 months. So you're recovering everything over 6 months. That's why it's such a large charge. which is an option. That's option D, I guess.
And,
Thank you.
and as part of that motion, I want to make sure that we come back and revisit this in
Review
September.
in September, yes.
Thank you.
We'll do that. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Warren will be sure, and John will too, that we review that. Okay, are we good? All right, Darcy?
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
No.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 5 members voting aye.
All right, I don't think there is any further business to discuss by this council, so this meeting is adjourned.